The View co-host Sunny Hostin's husband, Emmanuel Hostin, has been accused of federal insurance fraud.
Sunny Hostin, her husband accused of committing federal insurance fraud in a lawsuit.
All right, y'all, buckle up, everyone, because this story is, and it's got more twists and turns than a roller coaster at full speed. So let's get into it. Picture this: Sunny Hostin, the bold, outspoken co-host of The View, known for her takes on everything from politics to pop culture, finds herself smack dab in the middle of a legal and personal storm that's got talking, and we're not just talking about your typical tabloid gossip here. Nope, this one's got federal lawsuits, accusations of, and even whispers of some behind-the-scenes drama. If you thought Sunny was just about heated debates on daytime TV, think again, because this scandal has got her name splashed all over it in the Let's Break It Down.
For your stuff, let's just not forget who she is. She's been, for years, lecturing America about morality, inequality, systemic failures.
First, let's set the stage with the central figure in this, Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, Sunny's husband. Emmanuel is a respected orthopedic surgeon, or at least he until this bombshell lawsuit dropped. American Transit, a major insurance company, has accused Dr. Hostin and nearly 200 other individuals of running a fraud operation. And we're not talking about some minor billing errors here. No. The lawsuit alleges that these folks were involved in a scheme so it might make a Hollywood heist movie look tame. According to the claims, Dr. Hostin was performing medical procedures, like surgeries that patients didn't even need, and then pocketing the insurance money. To make it even juicier, the lawsuit is filed under RICO laws. Yep, the laws originally designed to take down organized crime, so this isn't just a slap on the wrist, this is as it gets.
According to the documents, he knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services, including arthroscopic surgeries.
Now here's the kicker. The accusations don't stop at Dr. Hostin. Rumors are that Sunny herself might have known more about her husband's alleged activities than she's letting on. And let's not forget, before Sunny became a household name on The View, she worked as a federal prosecutor. That's right, her was built on upholding the law and cracking down on corruption. The irony here is so thick, you could cut it with a knife. People are already speculating that Sunny may have used her legal expertise to help her husband's tracks. Could she have been the behind the operation, or is she just an innocent bystander caught up in the chaos? Either way, the internet is, and opinions are flying left and right.
This is the largest RICO case ever filed in the state of New York. You guys wrap that around your brain. That's bigger than the mafia.
Let's talk about the lawsuit itself, because this isn't your run-of-the-mill courtroom drama. American Transit is accusing Dr. Hostin and the other defendants of New York's no-fault insurance laws. For those who don't know, these laws are supposed to make it easier for accident victims to get their medical bills covered without having to prove who was at fault. But according to the lawsuit, Dr. Hostin and his alleged co-conspirators turned this system into theirs. They're being accused of performing unnecessary procedures, submitting claims, and raking in fraudulent payouts. And here's where it gets even more scandalous. Under RICO laws, any damages awarded in the case could be. So if the court finds Dr. Hostin guilty, we're talking about potentially in penalties. That's enough to ruin even the most well-established careers.
Oh, he was scamming insurance companies from taxi drivers, Uber drivers, and Lyft drivers. He was performing unnecessary surgeries and then providing fraudulent medical services in exchange.
But wait, it gets. Reports are now emerging that federal investigators executed a search warrant at the Hostin residence and allegedly hidden away. We're talking stacks upon stacks of money, enough to raise eyebrows and fuel speculation. Was this cash part of the alleged fraud scheme, or is there another explanation? Sunny has, of course, denied any wrongdoing, calling the accusations against her husband baseless and insisting that their family has nothing to hide. But let's be real. When you've got federal agents rummaging through your home and rumors of hidden money, it's hard not to wonder if there's to the story. Now, Sunny has never been one to shy away from controversy on The View. She's built a reputation for her sharp opinions and no-holds-barred commentary. But her critics are having a with this, accusing her of hypocrisy and questioning how she can sit on national television calling out corruption when her own household is under such scrutiny. And honestly, it's a fair question. How does someone who spent years demanding accountability and transparency reconcile that with the allegations facing her husband and maybe even herself. Social media is with people calling for her resignation from The View, saying her credibility as a commentator is shot. Others are defending her, arguing that these are just accusations and everyone deserves the benefit of the doubt. But let's face it, the court of public opinion is rarely kind, and Sunny is learning that.
But it's just, I mean, Pat, you're married. Tom, you're married. If your husband's doing something, if he's allegedly doing something like this, you guys would know if your wives were up to.
And speaking of public backlash, there's been no shortage of drama on the set of The View itself. Sunny's co-hosts have been noticeably about the scandal, but you can feel the tension in the air. Fans of the show have picked up on it too, with some speculating that the network might already be considering cutting ties with Sunny to protect the show's reputation. After all, The View thrives on its ability to tackle tough issues and hold people accountable. Can they really keep Sunny on the panel while she's embroiled in such a legal battle? It's a question that's only adding fuel to the fire.
So we know Sunny Hostin and her husband, Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, are preparing for a legal battle to fight accusations that he committed federal insurance fraud.
Now let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture. This isn't just a story about one doctor allegedly committing fraud or one TV personality facing backlash. This is about the of power, privilege, and accountability. Sunny Hostin has always positioned herself as a champion of justice, someone who fights for the little guy and speaks truth to power. But if these allegations hold any weight, it could that image completely. And what about the patients allegedly caught up in this scheme? If the claims are true, then real people, many of them taxi and rideshare drivers, were subjected to medical procedures for the sake of profit. That's not just unethical, it's downright.
Them. And it's a very serious crime. In fact, it's one of the largest, if not the largest, RICO case in New York's history.
And let's not forget the legal implications for Sunny herself. If investigators uncover any evidence that she was involved in her husband's alleged activities, she could be facing charges of her own. And we're not talking about a slap on the wrist here. We're talking about potential financial ruin and the total collapse of her career. It's a high-stakes situation, and the pressure is mounting by the day. But here's the thing, Sunny isn't going down without a fight. In a statement, she blasted American Transit, accusing the company of running a smear campaign against her family. She claims the lawsuit is nothing more than a desperate attempt to avoid paying out legitimate claims and insisted that her husband is innocent. Their legal team, led by high-profile attorney Mark Garagos, has already threatened to countersue American Transit for defamation, demanding $5 million in damages. According to Garagos, the lawsuit has caused irreparable harm to Dr. Hostin's reputation and the emotional well-being of their family. But critics aren't buying it. They say Sunny's combative response is just a distraction, a way to shift focus away from the allegations against her husband.
Sunny Hostin of The View, who's constantly raging about race and reparations and how bad America is with its racial past and all this stuff.
And let's not ignore the here. Sunny has spent years on The View calling out public figures for their alleged misdeeds, whether it's politicians, celebrities, or anyone in between. She's made a career out of holding people accountable, but now the tables have turned and she's the one under the microscope. It's a classic case of the hunter becoming the hunted, and the internet is eating it up.
On that panel, she is self-appointed. She knows everything. It's great to see her ego take this hit, but I think it will be short-lived.
It's amazing to listen to her talk about.
As the legal battle unfolds, one thing is clear. This story is far from over. The lawsuit against Dr. Hostin is expected to drag on for years, with endless court filings, motions, and discovery processes. And with so many defendants involved, you can bet there will be plenty of finger-pointing and shifting alliances. But the real question is, how will this scandal affect Sunny's career and public image? Can she weather the storm and come out on the other side? Or is this the beginning of the end for her time in the spotlight? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. This is one story we'll be watching closely. And let's be real for a second. This whole situation has got people talking, not just about the scandal itself, but about the larger issues it represents. How do we hold people in positions of power accountable? What happens when the public figures we look up to fall from grace? And most importantly, how do we separate the truth from the noise in a world where rumors and speculation spread like wildfire? These are the questions at the heart of this drama, and they're questions that don't have easy answers.
I think that it's very helpful that he's handy, and when we travel, I'm not picking up any bags. He's the one that's hefting them overhead. He throws the garbage out. He does the heavy stuff.
All right, so if you thought things couldn't get any messier, buckle up, because this next chapter takes the drama. It's like every time you think you've seen the peak of this chaos, another bombshell drops, leaving everyone scratching their heads and asking, what's next? Sunny Hostin and her husband, Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, are at the center of a whirlwind that seems to be spiraling out of control. And the more details that come out, the harder it is to look away.
It does not look well when your name ends up with 200 people in a RICO investigation. This is the biggest investigation since Giuliani shook the tree and a bunch of mobsters fell out, right? This is big stuff. And so, and thank you for bringing that video. It sure is ironic that she's up there. So, but
let's dive right back into the thick of it. Now, while the allegations against Dr. Hostin are jaw-dropping on their own, the ripple effects of this scandal are just as fascinating. You've got a high-profile TV personality, a household name, someone who's built her entire brand on being a voice of reason and a fighter for justice, suddenly being dragged into her husband's alleged misdeeds. And here's where it gets really juicy. People are now starting to question if Sunny Hostin herself might have had in all of this than she's letting on. Could she have been more than just a supportive spouse standing by her man? Could she have been actively involved in the inner workings of this alleged scheme? The whispers are getting louder and the speculation isn't dying down anytime soon. Let's talk about those rumors because they're too wild to ignore. According to some sources, Sunny may have used her legal background, remember she's a former prosecutor, to help Dr. Hostin navigate the murky waters of this alleged operation. Specifically, there's talk that she might have helped him funnel money through a series of shell companies, using her expertise to create a paper trail so confusing that investigators would have a hard time connecting the dots. And if that's not enough to raise eyebrows, there are also allegations that she acted as a sort of middleman, helping to move funds around in ways that would make them almost impossible to trace. Now, to be fair, these are just allegations for now, but you've got to admit it paints a picture that's hard to ignore.
Totally different perspective on this. I don't really know what happened with this. The facts will come out. What I have a problem with is the core of who this woman is. Unlike you, I don't watch The View, bro. All I do is see clips. I know you do.
It's just like twice a day.
But here's all I hear from her. America's violent, America's racist, America's bad. Okay.
Now, let's add another layer to this already complicated situation. Over the years, Sunny has been very outspoken about her personal life on The View. She's talked about her family, her marriage, her values, all of it wrapped up in this image of being relatable and grounded. But now people are starting to question just how much of that image is real. Because let's be honest, if even a fraction of these allegations against her husband are true, it raises questions about what's been going on behind the scenes. And here's the thing, for someone who spent her career calling out other people's behavior, this could be the ultimate irony. How do you reconcile being a public figure who demands accountability from others while potentially turning a blind eye or, worse, allegedly participating in something so questionable?
Today's video comes to us from Sunny Hostin. Sounds like a town. We're in Sunny Hostin. She was on PBS's Finding Your Roots, a show dedicated to researching celebrity ancestry. For context, Sunny is a staunch supporter of reparations and has made a fortune spewing nonsense about white privilege and racial justice.
And the hits just keep coming. Let's not forget the fallout happening over at The View. This scandal has put the show in a tough spot, and you can feel the tension every time Sunny walks onto that set. Her co-hosts have been unusually quiet about the situation, which is strange considering this is a show built on discussing tough topics and speaking truth to power. But the silence, and it's got fans wondering if there's more happening behind the scenes. Could the producers be weighing their options, trying to decide if keeping Sunny on the show is worth the potential damage to its reputation? It's no secret that The View thrives on its ability to spark debate and tackle controversial issues. But this might be a controversy they didn't see coming.
Wow. I'm a little bit in shock. I just always thought of myself as Puerto Rican, half Puerto Rican. I didn't think I was, my family was originally from Spain and slaveholders.
And speaking of fans, let's talk about how people are reacting to this whole mess. Social media has been flooded with opinions, and let us tell you, they are not holding back. On one side, you've got people defending Sunny, saying she's being unfairly targeted simply because of her husband's alleged actions. They argue that she shouldn't be judged for something she may not have even been aware of. But on the other side, you've got critics who are absolutely calling her hypocritical and demanding that she step down from The View. One commenter even wrote, "As always, Sunny Hostin has actually brought this particular situation on herself in the actual first place, for sure." And another fan didn't hold back, saying, "The whole show is racist and hateful and needs to be taken off the air forever." Clearly, emotions are running high, and the court of public opinion is as divided as ever. But let's not stop there, because this story keeps getting messier. Remember how Sunny has always positioned herself as a champion for the underdog? Well, the allegations against her husband paint a very different picture. According to the lawsuit, Dr. Hostin's alleged scheme targeted some of the most vulnerable people: taxi drivers, Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, people who often don't have the resources to fight back against a major fraud operation. If these claims are true, it's not just a betrayal of the public trust, it's a betrayal of the very people Sunny claims to fight for, and that's a narrative that's incredibly hard to come back from.
You're right. Anytime she says something stupid, I'm going to go, slave owner!
Now, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about Sunny's response to all of this. She's not exactly sitting quietly in the corner, hoping it all blows over. No, she's come out swinging, accusing American Transit of running a smear campaign against her family. In a fiery statement, she claimed this company has a history of filing frivolous claims, has been investigated by New York State, and has been sued by Uber Technologies. She didn't stop there either. Sunny and her husband's legal team, led by the infamous Mark Geragos, have threatened to countersue American Transit for defamation, demanding $5 million in damages. According to them, this lawsuit is nothing more than a desperate attempt by a near-bankrupt company to avoid paying out legitimate claims. But here's the thing, critics aren't buying it. They argue that Sunny's aggressive response is just a distraction, a way to shift the focus away from the allegations and onto the insurance company.
One thing, and I would have even actually not give her any is she said, well, I guess that's just what they did back then.
Yeah.
She should have followed that up with saying something along the lines of, and I understand that that's a departure from the way I've talked about this before. That was to me, the one thing that was missing.
Yeah.
Right?
And honestly, it's not a bad strategy. But will it be enough to sway public opinion? Only time will tell. And let's not overlook the timing of all this. In the middle of this chaos, Sunny has continued to appear on The View, tackling hot-button issues and delivering her trademark fiery commentary. But fans have noticed a change. Her usual confidence seems a bit shaken, and there's a tension in her interactions with her co-hosts that wasn't there before. It's almost like she's trying to maintain a sense of normalcy while the world crumbles around her.
Exactly, because if she is shaming descendants of this, will she continue to do that when she is now one of them, Dana? And it is funny, she's so wrapped up in identity and she had no idea who she was.
But can she really keep this up? And more importantly, there are already whispers that the network might be considering her future on the show, weighing whether her presence is worth the risk to its reputation. And let's not forget the broader implications of this scandal. This isn't just about Sunny and her husband, it's about what happens when public figures fall from grace. It's a story we've seen play out time and time again, but it never gets any less fascinating. How do you rebuild your career when your credibility has been called into question? How do you regain the trust of your audience when they feel like you've let them down? These are the questions Sunny will have to grapple with as this saga continues to unfold. So where does this leave us? Well, for now, we're all just waiting to see what happens next. Will Sunny and her husband be able to clear their names, or will this scandal be the end of the road for both of them? And what about The View? Can the show survive this level of controversy? Or will it be forced to make some tough decisions about its future? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going and see if we can unravel this tangled web together. Until next time, stay curious and keep the speculation alive.